All right, so I'm Hayden, and we have
Thor
here, and this is what's this car?
It's a 2006 STI.
2006 STI.
Yep.
All right, and how long have you owned this car for?
About only a month right now. So
Only a
it's
month.
fairly new, yes.
Yeah. So is this your first Subaru then?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, first Subaru. And how have you liked it so far?
So far, I like it. It's good.
Yeah.
It rides good, drives good.
For
no
sure.
complaints.
And so I know before the video we were talking a little bit that there wasn't much done to it, but like what is done to it so far?
So far, it has a built motor in it, but other than that, it's stock turbo, stock everything else. So right now, that's all that's done to it.
Yeah.
But in the future, I may put a bigger turbo on there.
Yeah.
Since it's already set up for that.
Yep.
So, and it's already gonna be reliable enough to do that.
For sure.
So.
And you said this was a daily driver. Do you have plans on making crazy horsepower? Or are you going to try to keep it in that realm?
Nothing too crazy.
Nothing too crazy.
Being a daily, I don't need 500 horse in a daily. So,
yeah, right.
You know, 400 maybe, but other than that, no.
For sure. And so was there anything, I know you said that you wanted all-wheel drive for the winter, stuff like that, but was there anything that leading that you went with a Subaru instead of maybe a different all-wheel drive car?
Not really. I mean, like I said, I have two kids, so the size, having to be able to fit the kids in the car,
for
very
sure.
important. So
for sure.
Other than that, I mean, just having a buddy, I said I had one before, so I've been in one, so I kind of liked them, you know, type deal. So other than that, not really.
Yeah.
But I mean, price point wasn't bad either.
Yeah, I mean, these cars aren't too bad, and I'm a big fan of Subarus. I mean, they have their pros, they have their cons, and I think
they have a bad rap. A little
bit. They do. And when you get in the last like 10 years, I don't really like those newer Subarus, but this thing just looks amazing. I love the way these look, especially the iconic Subaru blue and gold is just something that I mean, you gotta love it. And so there's not much done to it right now. It's not making a lot of horsepower, but if you had to guess, how much horsepower is it making?
Probably not even around 3, if that.
Around
275. I don't even know.
Yeah, I mean, you could even probably put
the guy I bought
on
it from hadn't done anything with it either, or tested it or dynoed it, so I couldn't even give you a number off.
Yeah,
an accurate number at least.
And so because this is kind of it's not a very common daily driver, I'd say. You know, one of these at least.
Yeah.
So for someone who's maybe looking at, you know, they want one of these but they can't maybe afford a second car or not, would this be a good daily driver in the time you've had it? What would you say?
It would be if you can afford doing the maintenance and keeping everything upright, because that's what the problem with these are, is maintenance and stuff. If you don't take care of them, that's why they have the wrap of blowing up and all that stuff.
Right, and that's just, I mean, I think that's a big boxer motor thing.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with, you know, the top mounted intercooler, it's kind of harder to work on these cars, at least I've heard.
Yeah.
I don't have...
There's no room in here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's
if you
very
don't know what you're
together.
doing, it's going to be a pain.
Yeah, exactly. So. And I mean, but the one thing with boxers, they sound so good.
Yes, they do.
And we took a ride to get over here, and we'll take another ride and get a little bit of a reaction. But on the way over here, it felt torquey, and it sounded so good. I mean, you have a catback exhaust on it.
Yes,
right?
It's got the normal Subaru, you know, rumble to it and everything like that. So
yeah, and
Subaru sound everybody likes to hear.
Yeah.
So
do you have a blow off valve on it?
Just stock. This is the blow off valve right
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I was gonna say you could really hear the turbo noises. I know you got
the turbo's
intake,
back here in the back, so it's really easy to hear in the in the car. So obviously you can't really see it because there's a shield down there, but yeah, that's one thing I noticed about these two and other people's cars, that you can really hear the turbo when you're driving them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
which
for sure.
Normal in other cars, but.
And so, what's your one? If you had to pick one thing about this car that you liked, you loved, what would it be?
The sound.
The sound.
Yeah, hands down.
For sure. That's when we got in it and we were coming over here. That I heard it and I was man.
Yeah, I mean, when you can hear this thing from a mile away and you know it's a Subaru car,
right? Just
by the sound of it.
Yeah, and they sound so good. Subarus
it's the iconic boxer sound. You know,
yeah,
the rumble they like to call it.
So then with that, what's the one thing that you maybe dislike?
Well, so far right now, that it's like the ride so far. But that's also, like I said, the suspension's a little worn. I mean, you know, it's a 2006, it's old.
Right.
So, and I had to throw some cheap coilovers out when I bought it because the other ones were blowing out, like I told you.
Right.
So, I mean, the ride quality right now isn't that great. But other than that,
it gets the job done.
Yes, I have had no other complaints with it.
And so how would, now, with it being a 2006, obviously there's probably no super fancy electronics. But for the interior, if we could take a look inside, do you like this interior, or do you think it's maybe...
I love the blue on blue, with the blue outside and the blue inside. I mean, if you want to look in the back too, you can.
Yeah, if we could take a look in the back.
I mean, there's nothing fancy to it, you know.
Right. I do like
the color matching and everything, you know, it stands out.
Yeah. And so in terms of, you know, it being a manual car, does it shift nice? How does it? Is it a driver's car?
Stock clutch or anything in it either, so it does shift different.
Oh, okay, so it doesn't
harder and everything like that. So like I told you, the clutch pedal is real stiff in it.
For sure.
It's got an ACT street disc in it, so
okay.
It's a little. If you never driven a stick before, you probably wouldn't be able to drive it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I told you, that pedal is real stiff.
So the state that this car is in, it's probably not a learner's car.
No.
No.
Like if I tried to put the wipe in it, she wouldn't be able to do it.
Right. So, and one thing with Subarus I love, the big wing.
The big wing on it, yeah.
How do you feel about the big wing? Is that something
I've always been a fan of the wing.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've had the neons with big wings on the trunk.
Right.
I've had the Eclipse with the big wing on the trunk. So
right.
Not extraordinary huge like people with aftermarket wings that put huge wings on them, but stuff like this, I prefer it with it.
Yeah, for sure. This is an amazing car. So that cut right there was we got lawnmowers going. So we're just gonna wrap it up real quick. This car is awesome. I really like this car. I was never a huge Subaru fan, but after I've never really ridden one. Yeah. So after just that short amount of ride that we did coming over here, I was like, this thing's awesome. Yeah. But you guys hear the lawnmower, so we'll probably hop in the passenger seat and kind of get a reaction. Yep. All right, we'll see you in the passenger seat.
If you play with the devil, I can make sure that death be your fiancé. I can turn the norm to a biz all day. When I make them see your halo with Beyonce, I'll turn you to the Red Sea when I come through like Moses but a part way. Or you gon' learn the hard way like anime protagonist, I'm OP. You diss me, that's catalyst to blow steam like Optimus. I transform and roll out the whole team. You a gangster trying to go pro, no homo, but like a game of tag, can't wait to put my hands on yo. We approaching, it's a go scene, response may be in slow speed.
All right, so we are in the STI. You guys are gonna be able to hear. We got the windows down. This thing sounds awesome. Oh, you can feel the torque. Yeah, 100%.
Got plenty of low end torque in it.
Oh yeah, and that's usually how boxes are. They got good low end torque.
Yeah.
They're just overall pretty decent with torque all over.
Yeah, they're not really made high horsepower type stuff, you know.
Right.
But obviously, if you want to put the money into them, you can make them high horsepower. But
right. Oh man, this thing just sounds so good. I really hope that on this camera, when you guys are watching this video, that you can really hear it. I've said previously that the one motor I dislike the most on the sound is the VQs. But there's so many good motors. Oh, you can feel it. Yeah, I really want one. This is making me want one so bad. Oh man, that's how we were talking about the Focus before this. And since we were talking about torque, that car's really good to talk about because it does make really good low end torque. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what those STs are really kind of known for. They're not fast or anything, but they have really good low end torque. And torque is, I find torque to be more fun than horsepower.
I agree. Especially for somebody to drive all the time.
Oh yeah. It's so good. We got an ambulance and stuff. Not sure what's going on. You guys are gonna see a cut. I'll start recording when we get maybe into a little bit better of an area. All right, so we're in a little bit better of a spot here. This thing sounds amazing. Oh, I can't get over it. That's one thing about engines that you have to, the sound. It's so soothing. I often regard. Yeah, you could really feel the torque in this thing. I often regard that the Lex LFA has one of the best sounding motors, but that's very unreachable for a lot of people, and that's where I think obviously V8s just sound good, a cam V8, but then Boxers, I have not really heard a bad Boxer. You can get exhaust systems that sound bad. Straight
yeah,
pipe.
you can change the headers on these things to make then they lose the rumble. You know what I mean? So you don't have the same sound anymore.
Right.
Which to me they sound like Honda does.
Yeah.
So I don't have any interest in doing that, but you can change the sound of these things.
Oh yeah,
if you
for
don't
sure.
like the rumble or whatever.
So with that, he has two cars that we're reviewing. So this was Thor's STI. Thank you so much for allowing us to look over this car. Yeah, for sure. We're going to be moving on to the next one. The videos won't be back-to-back. I got to edit both and just kind of the way the schedule works. But yeah, so we're going to go on to the next one. We'll see you in the next video.